Ibrahim, I'll come back to you, Bernard. Ibrahim is joining us via Zoom now. He's at one of the limited registration exercise centers for the final day of the exercise. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hi.
Ibrahim, where exactly are you joining us from?
Oh, so I'm currently at Askorima, that's within the Asawasi constituency. And that's the Askorima police office.
And how is the final day, events of the final day coming up? Are there people registering today? Have you spoken to anyone?
Well, registration has started. For now, we are not seeing any huge numbers. Maybe later in the day, most of them will start coming here because today is the last day. But here, fortunately, since day one, and the registration has been very, very smooth here. And so far, they've been able to register close to 5,000, which is very, very high. If you go to other constituencies, they've registered 1,000, 1,002. But as I say, they are inching closer to 5,000, which means that the registration has gone on as they are expected. And here in the Ashanti region, with the exception of Chepa and Edujama, that's the early stages of the registration that we recorded some sort of disturbances. Largely, the process has been very, very smoothly because the Electoral Commission has encouraged the political parties to resort to the use of the challenge form rather than violence. So in Ashanti region, for instance, the figures I had, that's from day 1 to the 18th day, 1,085 have been challenged so far, and around 500 of them were challenged for being minors. Then 300 plus were also challenged for being non-resident. Then when it comes to foreigners, to around 185, that's even for the 18 days. But I know more have been challenged. So what the EC does is that all those who have been challenged, their cards have been withheld. Then they form a committee for them to go through the investigation. I know some who have successfully been given their cards, others too have not been given because investigation is ongoing. As for instance, we know over the past few years, usually when there is any political activity or even this kind of registration, we often see this kind of violence here. But this year, fortunately, everything has been done smoothly, and we are hoping that it continues by the close of the day. With the issue of, apart from the issue of allegation and counter-allegation of passing in residents here, like I said, generally, everything has been done smoothly. I engaged with some of the registrants earlier on why they had to even wait for the last minute before.
All right.
Get this time to be able to come here to do this. Or that's the reason why I am coming this day to come and do this. Yeah.
Most of us are in school. Okay, let me say most of my mates, that's like 18 and above, we are in school. So we heard about it, but then we weren't able to come, and then we heard that they've extended it 2 days or 3 days. So then we hurried and then we came home again.
That's my colleague Ibrahim joining us from Asukwa at one of the registration centers. We'll bring you some more during the course of this show and throughout the day during our news bulletins. I'll come to you, Bernard, for your final word before we wrap up the segment.
I just wanted to ask a question. Prior to the NDC press conference and the revelations in the recordings between Godfrey Dame and Ejakpa, the MPP and in particular the PRO said that why they have evidence of and video evidence of the minority leader. And yesterday they did a press conference and there was no video of the minority leader meeting with the Attorney General. So you don't know how to go about it. You claim that you have counter evidence. Even if there was a counter evidence, which I do believe, that if there was a counter evidence of me, the accuser, I can walk to you and say that, look, Master, drop this case. But you promised that if they dared bring out any evidence, you bring. Yesterday, did you see any evidence from the MPP or Frank Davis? They brought no evidence. But they also said, your tape is doctored. The Attorney General has failed in this country. He is supposed to be Minister for Justice, but his conduct is Minister for Injustice. And since we don't appoint ministers for injustice, it means that he must be relieved of his duties. If he's not been relieved of his duties, then I join Kweku Ansah-Asare that President Akufo-Addo must be impeached for failing to listen to and to uphold what the people of Ghana have asked him to do. That's how it's supposed to be.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. That's all time will allow us this morning. Thank you for coming and for sharing your thoughts on this matter. And for those of you who sent messages I couldn't read, I apologize. We have overrun today, and I tried to read some of them. But let's cross over now to talk to my colleague, Yvonne Nikwe, joining us from the Eastern region. Hello, Yvonne.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Yvonne. Which center are you now?
I'm currently at the New Durban South Center for the limited registration exercise.
All right. And how are things going for the final day?
Well, this morning, the Electoral Commission have just a handful of applicants to deal with. The numbers are not huge, like we've been seeing for the first week of the exercise. So we are largely hoping that by the close of today, 5 p.m., nobody should probably complain that he or she did not have the chance to get onto the register, unless probably those who do not have the required documents to go through the process. So largely it is a peaceful exercise. It's just a handful of technical issues and a bit irregularities facing across the Eastern region.
Yvonne, we'll be relying on you to bring us more information during the course of the day, during our news bulletins and so on. And we'll be crossing over again to the Volta region, and we'll also speak to some of our correspondents at some centers in Accra to know how the final day, activities of the final day are going. So if you haven't registered, you want to make your way to the nearest registration center to register today. That's it for Big Issues today. Thank you for tuning in, for sending in your messages, and for being part of our conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen. When we come back, we have more for you with sports and day.